welcome to episode 7, I guess, of the Saloon build. So, not a very good start to this episode. My dad took the trailer to the lake. I was supposed to load everything I needed in it last night, but as I'm driving to the lake here, I realized that I forgot probably the most crucial thing that you need to build something, and that is nails. I didn't pack my box of nails. So Co-op lumberyard in North Battleford was closed. See, this is the issue with doing this during coronavirus. You just can't get materials on a normal schedule. And I know at the Cochin store they sell a little bit of hardware stuff, so I'm gonna stop in there in about 2 minutes here and see what they have. Hopefully they have some 16 penny nails so I can just get some framing done this weekend. So we'll see. I'll be in the store shortly. Alright, so thankfully they've got some 16s here. These are like a galvanized, but anyhow, these should work. So I'll get just a small amount of these, just what I'll need for this weekend, and then we should be set. Alright, so I ended up getting some 7 penny nails as well, 2 1/4 inch. That's all they had, but that's probably what I'll fasten the floorboards with. Well, I made it to the lake, so I've kind of started unloading some of the stuff already, so I'll keep doing that. And the first thing I'll need is the 2x6 out of here, and I'll just set those on the trestles, and then we can work out a plan for the floor. Alright, so I got the lumber I needed for the flooring all set out here. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out the rim joists and the floor joists. So what I've done is picked out what I think are probably the 2 best 2x6s. So now I got to cut these down to 10 feet. I think they're currently 14 feet. Tape measures over here. And it's a bit of a shame to cut these down because they're nice solid for 2x6s. But unfortunately, the biggest you can build a building without a permit is 8x10. So yeah, these are 14 feet. So I'll have to cut 4 feet off. Now, since these are going to be the rim joists, I want them to be pretty nice. So I'll just kind of pick a spot where it looks like it'll be nice lumber, not rotten or anything. So these didn't have a rim joist on them to begin with. Maybe I'll just kind of make these the same, roughly cut off, just so I have pieces if I need them. So I'll cut those off square. And then I'll just measure 10 feet from the end. I should just go and make this more than 10 feet, see if anybody notices. Just when they watch the video. Square those. I might as well spin these so I can cut them on the right side. These are heavy compared to a spruce 2x6. Kind of a waste of nice board here, but what can you do? I need a new blade in here desperately. Okay, now that I have these, I think the crown, well, these don't really have much of a crown. I don't know if you can see. Those are perfectly straight. Wow, this is nice material. Well, I'll just put them the way that they had them before, this side being up. And now I'll lay them out. I think there's no reason why we can't do 2-foot centers for the joists. So I'll just go ahead. So I'll mark 3/4 back so the center is on there, and I'll do that every 2 feet. And then the last 10-foot one will sit there. So I'll square these marks. X marks the spot where the stud goes. And then this is the side I want on this mark. And then 1.5 inches is this notch right there. I'm just marking those not so I need to know, but just so you guys can see what I'm doing here, in case you're not familiar with framing. So I will need to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces at 3 inches less than 8 feet. So I'll set these aside. I'll just set them back here and then start cutting these. Okay, so now I got these 3 marked out, and I'll just square off the end. This is that nail I couldn't get out, if you can remember, so I'll just cut that off. Move this out of the way. These are so heavy, I can cut them without even holding them. Now 3 inches less than 8 feet will be 93 inches. So mark that. And some people might be wondering why I mark with that V. Usually when I'm by myself and I'm cutting what I make, I'll just make a mark because I know, you know, what side of the mark or whatever. But if you're marking for somebody else, you probably want to do it like this, because then they know for sure where the point is, right at the apex of that mark there. So that's just another little carpentry trick to keep in mind if you're ever marking for somebody else to cut. Now here I tried to kind of cut the worse ends off just so it doesn't feel like so much of a waste. probably should get a new blade for that thing. Holy. Set these over here. And I will do the same thing with 3 more. Alright, so I got all these cut. Now I'm going to take my rim joists, maybe just take one at a time, and probably the nicest one put on the front, if that is the nicest one. I'll look at the other one. They're both pretty nice. That one does look a little nicer though. Okay, so I'll just kind of, you know, we're gonna do something kind of like that, just put 4x4s. I didn't bring any, but I think my dad's gonna run into North Battleford today and grab those. So I'll just frame this on the ground here, and then we'll just lift it on after. So I don't know, let's kind of take these one at a time, I guess. I do need to grab nails though. Alright, I got some nails, so let's go here. It's been a little while since I've framed by hand like this. It's a little bit more tedious, especially when you're not on flat ground. Getting it started can be a little bit embarrassing. This rigging axe is so nice. Having a bit of an issue with it coming off the handle and with the waffle face flattening a bit, so I might have to take this to the blacksmith and get him to do the same thing he did with the Delugi. I just want to take a minute and show you guys this hammer. So the blacksmith, he re-hardened it after the fire, in case you didn't watch that video. And to disassemble this whole bin, I pounded on the back of this nail puller for every nail, and you can see this is all mushroomed, but this waffle face is like perfect yet. It hasn't flattened at all. And then I beat on it once with the Vaughn, the rigging axe, and it started flattening it. So very good job hardening this. It's stood up great, so I'm really happy with that. So I might have to convince him to do this one for me too. But anyways, I'll keep going on this. Just set these on my marks. I'll maybe get a nail started before I go too crazy. So bouncy. Draw that in tight. Make sure it's relatively square. Fir lumber is a little bit tougher to nail into. It's a bit denser, older growth. Okay, well, you guys probably get the point of this. Okay, so we got these 4x4s here now, and that's what it'll sit on, just like the bunkhouse. So I'll just flush them up. Is that exactly 10 feet, or is it hanging over a bit?
It's got like a 1/2 inch hanging over here.
Oh, I don't really want to cut that. This is right in the way.
Got quite a bit hanging out here.
I know. Saloon in no time.
It's hot now. It's gonna get freezing this morning. Yeah.
There. That should work.
Really level right there.
Alright, so now it's time to sheathe the floor. And I was going over a couple different options. I could run them on a 45 like this and kind of mimic like the old sheathing style. But if I was gonna do that, I probably should have framed the floor on 16-inch centers. I mean, this is strong enough realistically, but might be just a little bit too bouncy. So I think I'm just gonna run them straight. And part of the reason for that is I don't know if I'll actually have enough material to do it at a 45. And if I'm a couple pieces short, I'm short. There's nowhere I can get more of this that'll match. So I think I'll just play it safe and run them straight. So the first step to sheathing the floor is making sure it's square. And in order to do that, I just like to pull corner to corner. So here I have 152 1/4. And here I have 155 1/4. So that means that this corner needs to get pulled quite a ways. Something like that. And then we'll kind of be looking for like if we were 152 1/4 and 155 1/4, be looking for about 153, 154, somewhere in there, just to give us a general idea. $153 3/4. $153 7/8. I'd say that's close enough. So now we can start sheathing. So one of my friends stopped by. Her name's Thea. She's gonna help me with the sheathing of the floor. So let's get at it. Okay, so now that I've got all this on, I'm just gonna take my track for my saw and just line it up and cut the stray ends off. Okay, so the track is set up here. Perfectly straight line. Do the same on the other side. Just line it up right flush with that. I'll just have to come from this way. Alright, so all this is cut and finished, ready to be pressure washed. And I guess these pieces are just firewood. Okay, so now I just did a little test spot here with the pressure washer, and it really brought the color back nice. So I'll just wash all the dirt off and everything, and let's go.
I want to be part of a YouTube channel.
There you go.
Video me out.
Okay, so I guess we have another volunteer, Chloe, here, so she's gonna pressure wash it for me. So as I was framing today, I was having some troubles with my rigging axe. The head is coming off more and more. Every time I hit it, it just comes off. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off, throw it in the fire, because that is smushing. It's already soft. So I'll just burn all this paint off and get it ready to be rehardened. Alright, so I pulled it all the way off the handle. So I guess we'll just go ahead and throw it down in where it's hot. Oh, maybe readjust it slightly. Something so I can kind of keep an eye on it. I'll figure that out. Alright, I got it laying down nicely in there so I can kind of keep an eye on it. Alright, so this has been sitting in the fire for quite a while now. And that is warm. So I'm probably just gonna let that sit in there until the fire burns down and it can cool down nice and slow. All right, so now it's the next morning and I pulled this out of the fire And I think it looks a lot better, less like a toy. Kind of matches the burnt look of the Delugi. Alright, so the next step I guess will be to start framing the walls. I got the material pulled out for that, but I think you'll have to wait till next episode for that one. So I hope you enjoyed the framing of the floor. I think this is going to look really good. I'll probably end up putting some oil on it later on when the building's closer to being finished. So thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, stay healthy, everyone.